speak a little slow. Reduce your rate of speech by at least 15 to 20%. Second, be comfortable with silence. Your job as a speaker is to get into the roller coaster effect. Been to any theme park and look at the madness happen. The same happens with speaking. You create that roller coaster, the highs and the lows. Pitch बढ़ गई, pitch down हो गई, volume बढ़ गई, volume down हो गई. These are all elements. And like I say, communication is very playful. I've seen people rush through their words as if they want to run away or run away from the person they're speaking to. They're very, very uncomfortable with pausing and silence. Third, somehow saying the same thing again has now become a norm.
What would be another good way to interject someone without offending them? One thing is, I would like to add something.
Ask a question. What made you say this? Right? What about this do you think is going to work?
Do you think only powerful people are humble?
Power gives you the liberty to be arrogant. So when the person chooses not to be arrogant, their humility is noticed more.
Active listening is the strongest indicator for healthy relationships. How can I be a good listener?
Ask powerful questions.
Such as?
Instead of just talking about yourself, ask other people how they are. What's been interesting in your life? What is your perception about this? When you ask powerful questions, you get powerful answers.
Raviesha Agarwal is an accomplished communication coach, TEDx speaker, and leadership mentor whose work has empowered founders, executives, and emerging leaders across continents. Widely recognized for her expertise in communication and leadership development,
What are some communication hacks that can make my speech magnetic?
Try to fit in at least 2 to 3 stories. Another thing is engage with your audience. Ask them, show of hands, get them to do some activity. Whole idea is that it should not be a one-way communication, even if it's speech. Find out ways, asking questions. How many of you are like this? How many of you conquer? Crack a joke if you can. And humor is self-deprecating. Great speakers don't really speak the same thing. They don't really state word for word. When you walk through the door, walk in with so much of stride in your feet, with your body language open, with a gaze that confident, that people make only positive assumptions about you. Then most important is your rate of speech. This is very vital.
How do I know someone's a people pleaser?
First, you'll find them speaking a little fast. They can't say no. Third, you will find them apologizing for just about everything.
What are the 5 exercises that you recommend an individual does every day to better their communication skill?
Learn how to speak in a framework. Second, so I force them that please stand in front of the mirror. If I find that their voice is not strong enough, I tell them get into the habit of breathing from your belly. It changes the projection of your voice. Third thing I would say is
she is also the official communication coach for the Femina Miss India World 2027. A sought-after speaker, Raviesha Agarwal continues to inspire individuals to find their voice and to create meaningful personal and professional transformation. And it is with great pleasure that we welcome her to the Body to Being podcast today.
how do you speak to your loved ones? And there were 3 things that were written, which was hug, hurt, and helped.
What can you say to calm someone down?
Not calm down. Don't say calm down.
Don't say, oh God, that's the worst, isn't it?
Yes.
Any other communication etiquette that you would suggest for the Gen Zs?
Drop the weird slangs like sus and
Guys also, they speak to their seniors with, hey, you guys.
hey you guys, right? And then Silulus are the new Riz. Use words.
We spend nearly 70 to 80% of our waking hours communicating. Today, communication is $1 trillion industry. Yet, poor communication still costs businesses billions of dollars every year. Furthermore, it damages what matters most, our relationships. Research even shows that couples who stay together respond to each other's attempts to connect 86% of the time, while couples who later divorce respond only 33% of the times. Whether it is business, leadership, friendship, or marriage, the quality of our life is largely determined by the quality of our communication. What's fascinating is that communication begins even before speech. So research suggests that babies can pick up on accents and communication cues even before they learn how to speak. In our Vedic tradition, Vak, which is speech, is revered as a divine force. You must have heard of the concept of Shabda Brahman, which teaches us that sound is not merely an expression, but it is a force of consciousness which can then manifest reality. Because remember, the universe was first created with sound. So from sacred mantras to the viral content, one truth remains unchanged, which is we're living in a world of words and communication is the greatest currency.
And today we're going to be learning all about that. But before we begin, I'd like to say this. Thank you so much for the incredible love that you've shown to our all women team over the past 2 years. If you haven't already subscribed, I truly appreciate if you did, because your support helps us reach more people and bring more remarkable voices onto the platform and continue creating more meaningful conversations. You know, Raviesha ji, we spend about 70 to 80% of our waking hours communicating. You know, be it verbal communication, listening, reading. Yet formal education seldom teaches us about how to communicate effectively. So today we'd like a masterclass on communication where you can offer tips and practical tips so that people can implement these in their daily lives. So I'd like to begin by asking you, what are the 5 most common mistakes you find people making when it comes to communication?
5 is too less, but let's start with 5. The first is, I've seen people rush through their words. They'll just rush through the sentence as if they want to run away or run away from the person they're speaking to. Second, they're very, very uncomfortable with pausing and silence. Third, somehow saying the same thing again has now become a norm. That if I repeat myself, it's okay. So they don't understand the value of the other person's time and they will repeat. They will focus so much on learning new vocabulary rather than increasing their word bank of spoken communication or learning the art of simplifying their message. And the 5th one, which I think is a blunder, they don't have a structure to a message. For example, if I'm talking to you, I really don't want to make sure that I stop. I just say what I want to say. It doesn't matter if you're listening to me or not. But if I say something and I ponder on it, look at you and see, oh, she's processing the information. Let me just say it slow. Or let me just pause, rethink what I want to say. Probably from your expression, I figured out, oh, she's not getting it. I need to recalibrate my message. Pausing helps you do that. And if you're saying something, instead of simplifying the message, you would include words that people don't understand. Something like what Mr. Tharoor would do. Now, we love him. His diction is great. He talks about how the British looted India.
Nice.
Right? And we love that. But how many of us actually get what he says, other than the fact that we are really, emotional about the whole concept?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about vocabulary, right, there's nothing wrong in learning language. But you have to understand who you are speaking to. Say you're sitting in Oxford and you're speaking to PhD holders who read Shakespeare. It's fine. But if you're sitting in a country that is a non-native English speaking, say Singapore, say Japan or India, half the people don't understand your message. And what you do is you use vocabulary to impress your audience. The question is, as a speaker, your motto is to impress or to connect. If I don't speak your language, and if half your message is a little jagged, I'm like, okay, that sounded good, but what? There are bits and pieces of those messages that is missing from my memory. So when I say कि structure ज़रूरी है, and it is very common, आपने भी शायद देखा होगा कि लोग जब बात करने आते हैं, they do something called as verbal vomit. इसको verbal diarrhea भी कहते हैं, but I prefer calling it verbal vomit. And they just say out whatever comes to their mind.
Yeah.
होता क्या है, वो फ्लो में सब बोल जाते हैं विदाउट रियलाइजिंग कि सामने वाले को याद क्या रहा, उसको समझ क्या आया और उसका वो करेगा क्या. द स्ट्रक्चर हेल्प्स यू ऑर्गेनाइज. तो अगर आपको मुझसे बात करने आना है और आपके पास बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, फिगर आउट टॉप 3 थिंग्स दैट आर इम्पॉर्टेंट टू से एंड फिनिश ईच थिंग इन प्रॉब्ली 60 seconds to 90 seconds. इससे ज़्यादा तो कुछ होगा नहीं कहने के लिए, बाकी तो कहानी ही होगी. So take 60 seconds, say what you want to say, and if I want to ask you something, give me the benefit of doubt that I'll ask you in depth if I want to know.
Okay. How do you know someone's over-communicating, and what should you do when someone's over-communicating?
See, over-communicating would be when you are sharing more than that's required, right? So over-explaining, repetition of the same thing. You will find people giving multiple examples of same thing to explain to this, to give you an example, to give you another example. Or you'll feel कि अभी बताया था, अभी घूम फिर के वहीं वापस आ गए, करेक्ट? या आप कोई प्रोसेस समझाने जा रहे हैं, जैसे आपने बोला अपनी टीम को ये कर लो, एंड व्हाट दे डू इज दे कम टू यू और वो उसकी पूरी कहानी बता, ये हुआ, फिर वो हुआ, फिर ये करा, फिर ये करा, इसने. You want the outcome. You want the core messaging. You don't want the entire story behind it. So communication is understanding what the other person wants, not कि मुझे चाहिए. Then you're being a narcissist. ना कि मेरे को ये देना है.
Yes.
आपको तो देना है, उसको चाहिए. You have to respect their time and their boundaries also.
3 indicators that this individual is a communication narcissist.
They will talk at length without realizing and taking a pause or listening to someone. They will just go on and on and on and on. Inconsiderate about how other people are reacting in the room. They could be disengaged. They don't care. They'll keep going on. It's about them, right? So everything is about them. Second, they make it me too. So if you're saying something, oh, this happened to me too. Third, which is the one I hate. You've done something exceptional, you tell them, and they'll say, I know someone who's done even better. So you tell them, I know someone who's probably built the first unicorn. Oh, I know this one who's done 2 of these, right? They live in Silicon. So the name dropping is something, oh God, that's obnoxious. And I'm sure a lot of people you know in the business world do this, that I know somebody better than you know. Then they will interrupt you. You're talking and they will physically make you feel uncomfortable, like, I wanted to say something. You'll feel it in their body. They'll fidget. They're restless because it's not about them. They want the attention on them. And clearly, worst listeners in the world.
Acha.
Sunna hai nahi na, it's about me, narcissists. So you'll find them not listening. और सुनना भी होगा तो घूम फिर के उन्हीं पे आ जाएगी बात. आपने कोई बात अपनी बोली, घूम फिर के it'll be back to me. So you find that almost as if this person is a part of conversation, but the spotlight is only on this person.
What about accents? You know, Indians tend to pick up accents very quickly. I don't see a Brit guy picking up an American accent or an American, vice versa.
Yes.
At least that quickly. We Indians, it's very easy, right? Even Indian stars, when they go on international platforms, I won't name them, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They
Most
just
of them
speak
do.
in an anglicized accent, right?
Yes.
It's to the international press, media.
True.
Why is that? A. B is that does an accent, especially the Western accent, make someone more articulate? Because I personally feel like they do. It feels more upmarket. It feels more polished. And of course, it has a suave appeal to it.
Yes.
So there was this research that was done on babies saying that babies pick up an accent even before they utter a single word. So there were 30 French babies and 30 German babies. And it was found that among the French babies, they cry in a rising pitch. And the German babies cry in a falling pitch. So they're actually picking up communication cues, starting with accent, even before they start, learning to speak. So tell me about this accents and all of these, basically the bunch of questions I asked you.
So the first question is, wherein these celebrities, they step out of their home country and they start talking. In fact, people like you and I also, when we step out, do we put on an accent?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And what is the possible reason that we do it? We want to be understood. Imagine if you're talking to someone and you have to say the same thing twice or thrice. And the person says, excuse me? Come again? What'd you say? Every time we are not understood, there's something that we feel uncomfortable about. We come from a colonial past, a past that tells us that you are lesser just because of your skin color. Right? Where do you think the vocabulary thing has come from? I want to have a better vocabulary. It's like the way Britishers do. They have a different set of words. Why? Because it's their everyday spoken language. They will always have more set of words. We would always have more set of words in Hindi. Somebody would have more set of words in Tamil.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. Why? Because the frequency of usage is higher.
Correct.
That's where the whole vocabulary myth. Now, coming to the accents, why we do it is, it's simple that we don't want someone to misunderstand. We have the flexibility to learn multiple languages. A lot of people don't have it. Now, why is it bad or why is it not bad? That's a perspective. अगर कोई हमारे यहाँ आता है वो अपनी accent नहीं बदल पाता, probably they don't have the capability to Indianize the accent, no? How many people travel to a certain part of the world, like India, और जब यहाँ लोग रहने लग जाते हैं उनका लहजा बदल जाता है. Have you seen? The Britishers who live here or Americans who live here, थोड़ा बदल जाता है लहजा उनका. They take time. But for us, if you travel to England, we go to Europe, any part of the Europe, or we go to US, of course, it's a bigger sphere where people speak English. India is the only country जहाँ लोग हिंदी बोलते हैं. तो ऑप्शंस लोगों के पास यहाँ कर इंडियनाइज करने के कम है, हमारे पास ज्यादा है.
पैरोडी करने को तो है.
See, trolling mein to I would say everybody is very happy to bring
Yeah.
down a country that is outshining
Sure.
them.
Yeah.
You and I both understand this. I coach a lot of native English speakers.
Okay.
Yes. And there are times when I realize कि अरे ये भी नहीं. So it's not that कि हमें ही नहीं आता और उन्हें आता है. It's not so. We just feel that we are little lesser because हमें ये भाषा नहीं आती.
Understood. And the part about sounding more polished or upmarket when you speak with an accent.
So I'll tell you one thing, which is what I've noticed, and let me switch for a moment. When I speak with an accent, I find it more comfortable to speak simply because there are different mouth movements that are involved when you speak English as a language. Correct? When you speak Punjabi, there's a different language. There's a different set of movements. For Tamil, it would be different. So English asks me to open my mouth a little more, raise my palate. Do you see the resonance in my voice?
Yeah.
And when I speak like this for 3 hours, my throat never gets tired. But if I have to switch back, मेरी आवाज़ थोड़ी और भारी हो जाएगी. यहाँ पे चलेगा. But अगर इसी आवाज़ में if I try to speak in English, I feel that friction.
It's
Because
more
it's
crude.
not because it's not my natural mouth movement. English का एक movement है ना. उसकी अक्षर बनाने में, उसकी आवाज़ बनाने में, उसकी डेप्थ बनाने में एक मूवमेंट जाता है जिसको मैंने अपने हिसाब से अडेप्ट कर लिया. For a Britisher it could be different. For an American it could be different. For a French speaking English it could be different. So let's not villainize accents, I feel. अगर आपको लगता है कि accent के साथ बोलने से आपको ज़्यादा confident feel होता है, do it.
Very interesting. An interesting take on accents. You know, speaking of accents, tell me more about diction, pitch, intonations, and what is the correct way to do it?
First thing is of course your pitch. Pitch आप कितना ऊंचा बोल सकते हो? मैं बहुत ऊंचा बोल सकती हूँ. Right? I can go as high as I want in my pitch, or I can go as low as I want in my pitch. This is the pitch of your voice. Then comes the melody in your voice, which is how melodious can your voice be? Is there music to your voice or isn't? Because if I can say something with melody, it just sounds music to my ears. That's melody, right? And then there is tone. So you've heard this line, what's your tone?
Yeah.
Tone is the expression in your voice. So have you seen sometimes people just say something that sounds good but doesn't sound pleasant to the ears? It's as if the incongruent thing, like I said, I'm so happy that you got this promotion. I'm so happy that you got this promotion. Versus, I'm so happy you got this promotion. So my voice has an emotion. Like radio jockeys. You don't see their face, but you can feel, aaj sham mausam bahut acha hai. That is the tone in your voice. Then most important is your rate of speech or pacing. अक्षर की स्पीड पे बोले जाते हैं. Right? The rate of speech. And this is very vital. Because अगर आप बहुत जल्दी बोलते हो, usually as a default, then you look very underconfident.
Okay.
बहुत ज़्यादा धीरे बोलते हो default हर वक्त, then you're very disengaging. जल्दी बोलो यार, ये
हाँ,
important.
exactly, yeah.
ये थोड़ा तो जल्दी बोलो. So nothing is a default setting. कोई भी चीज़ जो predict कर ले human mind, वो problem है. Your job as a speaker is to get into the roller coaster effect. And like I say, communication is very playful. आप इसके साथ खेलते हो. जैसे अगर आपको म्यूजिक बनाना है तो आप सबके साथ खेलोगे ना. Communication is playful. जो लोग चीज़ समझते नहीं है. It's not set in stone. कुछ चीज़ें set in stone है. बट खासियत है कि आपको उसके साथ खेलने की कैपेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए कि आप वॉल्यूम बढ़ा रहे हो. यू सी ऑडियंस आर एक्साइटेड. आप एक्साइटेड करना चाहते हो तो आप वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज करोगे ना. आप डिक्रीज तो नहीं करोगे. आप पिच इंक्रीज कर सकते हो if you're questioning somebody that is that what we stand for? Is this what this country talks about? Pitch goes up. But if you're very certain, you would go down. It's playfulness. And when you fine tune these different aspects, आपकी modulation, इसी को voice modulation कहते हैं कि मैं अलग अलग एलिमेंट से खेल रहा हूँ. हर सेंटेंस में कुछ अपना रोल प्ले कर रहा है. That's what.
Okay. After discussing the mistakes, what are some of the communication hacks that would make for effective speech?
Okay. First thing I always tell, speak a little slow. Reduce your rate of speech by at least 15 to 20%. It may sound awkward to you, but to the other person it doesn't. Second, be comfortable with silence. The two reasons for it. Silence for you is pausing, and silence for the other person is a permission to speak up. If you and I talk and there is no silence from your side, I will not be able to put up the points I want to. So silence is also an invitation that adds something if you want. Third would be, get rid of anything that makes you sound doubtful. For example, if you are stating a point that you think is valuable, don't say, I just wanted to add, I think, maybe, things like, does it make sense? You're certain about it. Now, all these words have their place. There's nothing wrong in it. But if you're certain about it, in your mind, it's set in stone. Don't speak about it with doubt. Speak about it with certainty. I concur. I firmly believe. I recommend. Right? Now, if I come to the part of tonality, one thing that you should be very mindful of is the pitch. A sentence or a statement should always end at a downward pitch. And a question, on the other hand, can end on a higher pitch. And this is something that's neglected so much. People don't really think about their pitch. They think about pitch and, you're speaking in that pitch, without realizing that most of their sentences actually sound like it's question mark. And the room feels you're unsure about this. They don't even know why it's happening. For example, I'm sure I can get this done and I'll present it to you tomorrow. I just need some time to get through with it. I'm very confident about it. Everything's going up. Confident about it. I'll get this done. I'm sure about it. Downward would be, I'm extremely sure about it. I'll make sure that this is done by tomorrow. You go downward. So the bass in your voice.
But the first one sounded more humble. The second one
So
sounded
that's
more
people
authoritative.
pleasing. That's unsure. Right? That's unsure. I'll get it done. I'll get it done. And I always give this example to everybody. You've seen the Bond movies. And any movie, right? And you'll find the most powerful figure will say something like, finish him. Why? It has this depth in voice and it has low pitch. Just finish him. Does he finish him? So when you're very certain, you always finish your sentences on a downward pitch. Full stop means downward pitch. Question mark means upward pitch. Period. Another would be, this is one thing that a lot of us don't do. We completely ignore the melody in our voice. Our voice has music in it, but we don't play around with it. Especially if you see the corporates. They are dry as Sahara Desert. Their presentations are as if somebody's speaking the same monotone, right? It's the same. But the moment you add melody to something, it's easier to remember. It's more pleasing to the ears. It's more warm. If, for example, I said the same thing, they're dry as the Sahara Desert. And whatever I say without a melody, if it'll sound pleasing to you. But I'm saying it and the message is right. I sound arrogant.
Yeah.
Melody is the warmth in your voice.
Okay, we come to a rapid fire segment now.
Oh my goodness.
One tip to communicate effectively.
Speak slow.
One tip to make your communication instantly attractive.
Be okay with pausing after everything important.
One phrase that people should stop saying immediately.
I just wanted to, or did it make sense? I'm
We should
giving you
stop
two.
saying that.
Yeah.
Did that make sense? We should stop saying that?
If you're saying something with conviction, why would you ask, did that
Because
make
it's a
sense?
perspective. You're asking for a
No,
perspective.
did that make sense is different versus do you need more clarity on this?
Nice.
Sense is, am I
Okay.
senseless?
Nice.
It's like saying, to be honest, what were you doing lying before that?
Nice. One thing that instantly makes someone likable.
A gentle smile on their face while having conversations.
Yeah. Worst communication habit in Indian workplaces.
Talk over each other's points.
One thing to never do in a first meeting.
Get straight to business.
Okay.
You are something other than your title in your work. Spend more time in sharing bit of pleasantries.
Okay.
At least spend first few minutes, I would say. And then get to the work.
Your go-to icebreaker.
It's, for example, I'll ask you, hi Shlloka, how are you?
You want me to answer?
Yeah. So I'll ask you, hi Shlloka, how are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
Rich, ravishing and gorgeous.
So now we laugh.
The logic is, you will have something to say about yourself. Like, a lot of times people say to me, how was your day? And I'd say, dreadful, desperate for a coffee, but a look at your face makes it better. So when you are having a conversation around the day, try to find something, like I said, playful.
Okay.
And it's something as simple as, I'm dead tired, I'm desperate for a coffee, but a look at your face makes it better. And this is something that I've gotten interesting reactions on, and I try this on
Yeah.
all my mentees in one of the classes, which is when I say I have said this, that I'm ravishing, I'm rich, and I'm curious. Or I am resilient, I'm ravishing, and I'm courageous. I say this. And most of them go like, yes, you are. Oh my God, only you can say this. I'm happy about it. Because I realize I'm willing to break the pattern. A good communicator is willing to take the feedback and learn what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
Communication is experimentation. So if anybody who's listening, try out something that you've not tried out. Yes, it will be risky, but how do you know it's not worked for you? Comedians go and try the jokes. They know where the audience laughs and where the audience doesn't. Communication is exactly like that.
If I have 10 seconds to make an impression, what can I say?
If you have 10 seconds to make an impression, don't say anything. Have a very strong body language. So if you have 10 seconds to walk to a certain person, those 10 seconds will let the person decide about the first impression of who you are. And then you walk in, give the most pleasant smile and say, hi, I'm Raviesha. How's your day going? So when it's just 10 seconds, your body will do the talking because it'll speak way louder than your words.
Nice. One thing confident people never do while speaking.
They will not fidget.
What would you say to someone who thinks they can't communicate well?
That probably nobody has taught them the right way. They've not been able to learn it, and they've not been able to measure their progress of it either. Communication is teachable, learnable, and measurable. Why I say teachable is that everything in this world has a framework and a process. You just need to learn the process. Now, why I say it that it's learnable, framework of course makes it learnable, but you have to be repetitive in nature. To make anything a muscle memory, you have to do it enough and often that it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And for that, you have to learn it in a way where it's applicable to your environment. If I say that, okay, speak about peacock is our national bird for 2 minutes, maybe you will be able to. But the point is, can you apply it to your real environment? So you have to learn it in a way that you can directly apply it into your work environment.
Understood.
And lastly, measurable. This is the most fun part. Everybody who comes to me says, I can't do this. I'm sure I'll never be able to speak. Everything. And I said, how did you get to know of it? They have some proof. We as human beings are very self-aware, right? That means I notice everything around me. There's data. Let's call it data. People reacting, people getting bored, somebody disengaged. And why is that? Because you have taken certain action that is not working in your favor and you are recollecting. If you change that action, would the reaction not change? Would the quality of data you get not change? So what we do is we figure out what action can you take in your everyday work environment so that the data that you're getting is changing. Now people are not as disengaged. People listen to you. You're able to shorten what you're saying. You're not repeating yourself. That's why it's teachable, learnable, and measurable.
Understood. Wonderful. If someone had to say 3 things about themselves, what would they say?
So when you meet someone, this is the framework that I teach and I follow. The first is clearly what I do, but make it wacky.
Yeah.
Because simple is boring. Then second, who am I helping and how am I helping? And the last is outcome.
So I watched this reel from you and it was Ranveer
Indian
Singh's
subcontinent.
reel.
Hello,
It
sir,
was-
I'm an entertainer.
Yeah, so what
from
do you
the
do?
Indian subcontinent. You give the title, but you make it wacky.
So he could have said I'm an actor, but he said I'm an entertainer.
Yeah. So I never say I'm a communication coach. I say I'm a communication strategist. You can also call me a mad scientist of communication because I love working with frameworks.
Oh.
So they know something about me.
Understood.
Right now, who do I work with? I get to work with some of the most ambitious people, the founders, the CEO, pageant delegates, because I understand that everybody has different communication gaps. And what I do is I create a unique strategy that fits them like glove. This is what I do and who do I do whatever I do for. And the last is outcome. And once they absorb it, they can walk into any room and on any stage knowing what to say and how to say it. Wacky, people I serve, what I do, and the outcomes they get.
Okay.
So you could say, hi, I'm Shlloka, I'm a podcast host. You can call me a curious conversationalist. So when you are talking about yourself, have the audacity to be a little wacky because nobody else will turn around for the second time.
Okay. Interesting. Some tips to overcome the fear of public speaking.
The only way to overcome fear is by taking an action. For example, you're scared to speak in front of 100 people. Start with a small boardroom meeting. Be the first one to add the value in the first 5 minutes. it gives you the belief that I can initiate something, correct? Then you will have these office meets up. You tend to be the MC, you organize. Get yourself a micro role which forces you to talk to strangers. Maybe the other department, maybe some delegates coming. Put yourself in that little zone where you're not comfortable as of now. Then probably get the role of an MC where you say, I would like to moderate this. You have panel discussions also. Do that. There's always a micro step to reaching there. The problem is that when we try to do everything in one go, we cannot handle it. I'm trying to read something called as first principle. I'm still deciphering it. But it says that maybe I'm wrong when I'm mentioning it, but from what I understand, it's about that you break down the problem in a step-by-step way so that you know where you want to reach and how you'll solve it. So you set milestones. And this is the milestone in terms of speaking, that if you want to reach here, what is the ladder? There must be a ladder. So micro steps is what gets you there. Get comfortable with 15 unknown people, moderating people that you know, some little known faces, some friendly faces, so that the belief that you have about, I cannot speak, it changes. I feel public speaking is a belief, not a fact.
Okay.
And because of that belief, you don't take action. What I'm saying is take action so that your belief changes.
Understood. Who do you think are great conversationalists in India and overseas?
First, I cannot live without saying Sushmita Sen,
I love her too.
Priyanka Chopra,
Okay.
Barack Obama. And I would be lying if I don't mention Kumar Vishwas. And I'm mentioning it on purpose. He's a living proof that if you love a certain language so much, it doesn't matter what language you speak. It is the knowledge of that language that puts you where you are. उनको बहुत प्यार है संस्कृत और हिंदी से, राइट? वो जिस तरह बोलते हैं, हम सब हिंदी बोलते हैं, हम उनकी तरह नहीं बोल सकते, राइट? We can't speak like he does. But जब आप उनको सुनते हो, you are in your own zone. It's a trance.
Yeah.
It's a similar trance when I hear Barack Obama speak, when he talks. But I am glad we have people like him because it induces the love and respect for the language that a lot of us don't realize. Problem language में नहीं है. Problem is कि हमने उसको master करने की कभी कोशिश ही नहीं करी.
Correct. Interruption is the number one complaint that people often have during communication. And like I said, there is a tendency for people to over-communicate.
Yeah.
When should you interrupt? And what should you do instead if not interruption?
See, communication is a two-way street, right? So if somebody is a communication narcissist, where it's just about them, then clearly you realize there's no option but to get that person back to planet Earth because they're in their own way of speaking. Now, there is a right way of interrupting, which is that when the person speaks, there will be a moment they'll pause. And only if it's necessary, you say, I would like to add something to that. You wait for it. It's not that when they're in the flow, you just mid-sentence do it. He will take a breather. He will stop. Even the one who speaks the fastest, right? So you have to be very alert. Now, of course, in terms of speaking etiquettes, should you interrupt someone? No. But like I said, context matters. If the person on the other side is not aware, you have to do it. But should you do it? No. And I'll tell you why. You must have seen people who just interrupt. While somebody's speaking, they'll interrupt. And a while later, you'll also realize that whatever they're saying is a little mismatching.
Yeah.
That's because they're not listening. While they're physically present, they are not mentally present. So they might do this, but in their head, they're already coming up with, what do I say next? What do I want to add? This is important. I should say it. So again, context matters.
Okay. They say active listening is the strongest indicator for healthy relationships, success, and even leadership. So why is listening so important and how can I be a good listener?
Think of communication like a dance. If one partner is speaking, the other partner is also listening. And listening is very vital because when you, for example, speak, somebody on the other side is listening to you actively and giving you the attention. If you notice the cues from their body language that they are not giving you attention, it shakes your confidence to a level That am I not engaging them? Am I not saying the right things? So listening is not just whether you're listening. It is you're not speaking, but the other person is getting some kind of message from you. That is why when we're in a meeting, we notice these cues. The slight nodding, right? A tilt of head. Words like, yeah, I get you. These are these cues that assure the other person that whatever he or she is speaking is coming this way, is being absorbed. And why is it important? A conversation has to go, right, to and fro. If I do not understand what you said, I will misinterpret, miscommunicate. I might ask you the wrong things. I might ask you a question that you've just answered 2 minutes back. What do you think about me after I do all of these things?
Disinterested.
And you'll disrespect me. I will not have value because I did not give value to your message. I did not give the attention. So it's a two-way street. The dance has to be there and both the parties have to enjoy it. So listening is vital. You don't listen, you're not a good speaker. You can't say I'm a great speaker. You don't listen, you're not a great speaker.
Okay. So these cues, right? Basically to nod, to make eye contact.
Yes. So you make a gentle eye contact. Of course, you're not staring at this person. So you do not have to open your eyes, right? This is gentle gaze, you nod. And not excessive nodding. That is also a cue that you are not listening.
Yeah.
So if you see in a meeting, somebody's constantly nodding.
Yeah.
They're not listening. Because the rhythm is not there. When you listen, you're trying to put the structure together. Excessive nodding is I'm zoning out.
Okay.
Right? And because you're putting up a facade. Your body is zoned out. You get it? And of course, these sounds, these verbal cues, sound ways that, all right. These make you feel I'm hearing you out. And you need to give those. There has to be a feedback loop that, yes, I'm there with you. And when people are really interested, they'll tilt their head a little.
Yeah.
That's deep thinking about it, pondering, putting hands on the chin, which I've been doing because I'm thinking. Those are the cues that make the other person feel I'm listening.
You know, among Western speakers, they don't do a lot of head bobbing. In fact, they look down upon this whole tendency of Indians to keep, bobbing their heads.
Yeah.
Do you then think that communication and the principles of communication is more cultural than universal?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cultural communication is a thing. For example, in India, if you say something, it's like, yeah. Yes. No. Why? Because it's Hindi. Aja. Ja. Nahi. Are. Hindi bhasha mein sikhaya jata hai. So we use the same. Then bobbing is this. Now you'll see a lot of metro people we don't do this. You won't find a lot of Indians doing this, at least the ones who are very educated. This is not a part of our culture anymore.
Okay.
It's stereotypical, they will say. That, you do like this. Have you seen Simpsons? Oh, I'm going to talk like this. And Indians, how many Indians talk like that? And have you come across many Indians? We have such a large percentage of educated Indians. But sorry, the West is so busy putting us down that they don't realize, honestly, we're well spoken than they are. A lot of Indians have better vocabulary, better diction. I'll give an example. I have a lot of friends in the European part of the world. Spanish, Danish, Estonians. They make horrendous grammatical errors. They use fillers. They have a lot of repetition. And they're speakers. They're paid speakers on international stages. They don't feel bad about it. They're okay with it. But if you have a good Indian speaker, and God forbid, this person makes a mistake, half the India would be behind figuring out that one mistake that Indian has made. Then, body language-wise, I would say, occupy space. Yes, just occupy space. Don't be scared to occupy space. There's an activity that very few people know about, but I try when I find that someone is really introverted, or at least they claim that they are. I say just walk. Go to the mall and walk. Walk in a straight line. Don't move. Just walk. If someone's walking through you, don't move. Watch. Do they move? And you'll see that a lot of times it happens. So when two people who occupy space, what will happen?
Clash.
They'll collide.
Yeah.
But the one who's a little unsure will just bounce back. They'll be like, okay, I'm siding. Now, I'm not talking about it in a perverted manner.
Sure.
Right? It's an experiment that you realize that can you occupy space? Can you give this kind of energy where the person walking in front of you realizes, oh, he's occupying space. I will have to go on the sideline for him. So if you find some people stand with their feet together,
Yeah.
and some will always
Yeah.
occupy space. And
Yeah.
that is something we find in women. When women occupy a little more space, we call them, she's very masculine. The labels given.
Sure.
But that's me taking space. So when your body language is like that, you look more confident, you sound more confident.
In an age where time is currency and people have short attention spans.
True.
So research would show that, especially on social media, given that we're in that space, attention spans are less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's the attention span of a goldfish.
Okay.
That's what at least I've read.
Okay. So people want to cram a lot in that little time. They want high density information. So if you notice a lot of Instagram and short format reels, people speak very fast, or they 10x, 5x, whatever.
Yeah.
People seem to consume that with ease. So how do you explain that?
There's a difference in consumption and retaining, and then application. So I always see most of my reels have a lot of these saves.
Okay.
The question is, how many of them are able to apply? So we are in an age and era where we feel the more we learn, the better it is. The fact is, you need to be able to absorb it. Your brain should be able to figure out, okay, where does it fit in my life? And once I know, okay, this is where it's right, I'll apply it. Imagine you have a house and you go shopping and you buy everything without realizing, does it have a utility? You're cluttering your house. It is very important that you take information in a way that it's simple, so you apply. And not just about everything that comes your way.
Whenever someone shares something vulnerable, you don't immediately respond. You wait for 1 second and then respond. Explain this to me.
I'll give you the reason why this happens. There was a journalist by the name of Jancy Dunn, and she wrote an article in New York Times which said, how do you speak to your loved ones? And there were 3 things that were written, which was hug, hurt, and helped. Now, it says that as children, so her sister was a special educator, and she said children come for either one of these things. They want to be hugged, they want to be heard, or they want to be helped. Now, let's translate it to the real world, our grown-up, the adulting. If someone comes to you and talks to you about an identity crisis of why did it happen? I work so hard. This has happened. What is happening? They need a hug from you. Because right now, the question is around their identity. They're questioning their own credibility. So it's a mix of, I need some kind of validation from you. Tell me that I'm right and I'm also vulnerable. The second thing is, I want to be heard. So no unsolicited advices, nothing. You just sit and you listen. So if someone tells you about probably being molested or something that's happened to them that's unfair, you don't react. Because when they are talking to you, they're like a ticking time bomb. They're so overwhelmed. They're filled with something that they're letting out. They're trusting you. The last thing they want is you reacting. You have to be as cool as a cucumber. Just be an empath, nod, and tell them you're there. I'm there. Let it out. And the third one is help. When they openly in their words say, I need help. So the question that you ask, that when someone is vulnerable, it's the heard. You don't say anything, you just hear. They're venting out. They're shaking. Whatever it is, it's not your place to say. You're just there to listen.
Understood. What are some communication hacks that can make my speech magnetic and attractive?
Now, if you start the speech and it's all factual, there are high chances that your audience will get disengaged. So you have to make sure that it's a mix between the facts and fiction. Real life fiction, that is your story, or any borrowed story. So one very important thing, try to fit in at least 2 to 3 stories. Begin with a story, maybe end with a story, find it in the middle. Always have a backup story also. Right? Another thing is, engage with your audience. Ask them, show of hands, get them to do some activity. Figure out, maybe put some props under their seats. The whole idea is that it should not be a one-way communication, even if it's speech. Crack a joke if you can. And humor is self-deprecating.
Yeah.
So have the ability to crack a joke on yourself. It's funny.
Yeah.
For example, say you're presenting a research. Now you say research is research. What's there? I assure you, you must have had an experience while doing a research. Something must have gone wrong. Some failures must have happened. You have these anecdotes. You just don't give them importance.
What if I don't have the vocabulary to?
Everybody has the vocabulary.
Or maybe in just a boardroom, I'm presenting something.
Yeah.
But I don't have the vocabulary to, because that's the problem with a lot of Indians. We
See,
don't read as much.
This is a myth. In today's time, vocabulary is not a problem.
Okay.
Every Tom, Dick and Harry is on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yapping about the government, yapping about something that's happened, yapping about how to yap. Everybody can talk. So the medium is there. You just have to put in an effort. And there is no shortcut of not putting in effort. So if you say, I don't have the vocabulary, when you're listening also, you're acquiring words. But to make it a part of your spoken bank, you have to speak the word. So when people come to me and say, I've tried reading books, I listen to a lot of podcasts also, and I do this, I said, great. You know what you're doing? You're acquiring knowledge. That's another skill. But speaking is a different skill. So if you want to have a bigger word bank, you have to try speaking.
Or try reading. Which one's bigger?
No. Reading is acquiring knowledge. Let me explain. Have you ever read a book where you know a certain word and you know the meaning of it? Right? Say, but how often do you use that word when you speak?
Not often.
Right? So that means there are different set of words. The ones that we understand, the ones that we read, and the ones that we write. So there's a high probability that you might use that word in your written English also. It's easier that way. But spoken requires a different level of comfort.
Okay. I read this somewhere. The most dangerous word is not no, but it's sure.
Oh, yes.
How does one establish boundaries and learn to say no the polite or the professional way?
See, the word no itself sounds a little hurtful to a lot of us because we've been raised in people-pleasing culture. Hanji, mana nahi karte. That's how we've been raised.
Correct.
Right? So we were never asked. We were always told. So we take it the hardest when someone says no.
Yeah.
And we find it the hardest to say no as well. So for example, there's a conversation between two girls, say the friends or new colleagues, and she says, can you take up this call for me today? You have all the data. And this one will say, no, I have a lot of work. So can you, I'll not be able to take it.
Yeah.
No, but you have the data. It's just going to take 10 minutes. It won't take you a lot of time. I know, but it's so difficult. I really can't,
Yeah.
I want to, but I can't. And this one will iterate the third time. No, but we've done so much together. It's not going to take, I'm going to send you all the things. You will have it. It's just a fun. And she'll agree.
Yeah.
Saying no means saying no. So if she says, can you take up the call? You say, well, my schedule looks blocked. Won't be possible for me today. It's just going to take you 5 minutes. You have all the data. I appreciate that. I wish I could do it. But sorry, my schedule's full.
Nice.
But we've done so much together. It's not going to take you a long time. I get it. I totally do. I wish I could help you. But my schedule is full. When people don't understand, you say the same thing again and again and again till they get it.
Okay.
And if you want to add a little layer of empathy, just say, okay, let's see if somebody else is willing to help out. Maybe I'll drop a message to XYZ. But a no means a no.
Yeah.
But people do that where they try from different ways. It's the same. The door's shut. The door's closed. Don't guilt trap me into it.
I'm going to be personally conducting a classical Hatha Yoga retreat in Ladakh from the 23rd of August until the 31st of August. If you'd like to be a part of this mystical experience where you will be learning classical tools of yoga which are almost 5,000 years old for your holistic well-being, then you can contact the details flashing on your screen. Please share this video among others. I look forward to seeing all of you now.
So a research said that couples who have stayed happily married have made attempts to connect with each other 86% of the time, vis-a-vis couples who are divorced only made that attempt 33% of the times. Give me some communication hacks when it comes to relationships.
Okay. This one's very practical, being a married person, you get how it works.
And how many years?
15 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So one thing that I've seen that most relationships fail to do is, remember I said the traffic is two-way? The traffic becomes one-way. So you start taking the other person for granted and you stop listening. By that I mean, imagine this person's talking to you. Say I'm talking to my husband and he's just nodding. It's like, I know. So cutting between the sentences, right? So communication is not just verbal, right? The cues are there. And noticing that is very vital. I remember my 13th anniversary, my husband was working, and he's going to be so upset about this. And he's the most sweetest human being. I'm a Scorpion, he's a Piscean. We're a deadly combo. So he's the kind who listens, and I'm the kind of like, that way. And he was working, he said, I'll be home by 12, be ready, we're stepping out. He came home by 1:30. We stepped in the car, he was in the call. 1:30, 2:30, we reached, I think, Emporio by... I was busting out. I was sobbing. And for the first time, I'm doing this for you only. I'm doing this for kids. It's because if it was not because of you, I wouldn't even want to work, everything. And then I sat him down and I said, you know what the problem is? You wish everything well for me. But sometimes you just need to hear me out and acknowledge that, yes, this has happened. But what you did, you had an answer in place. You were ready to defend your stance. Why is it so difficult to just listen and say, I understand where this is coming from. I get you. And I had to literally guide him step by step that now you should ask me. And I told him, ask me, what did you feel bad? And he said, okay, tell me, what did you feel bad? I said, I felt bad that it was an important day. One day I asked you and you didn't listen to me. Okay. And I said, ask me, what can I do next? Okay, what can I do next? If you commit to me in terms of your time, please make sure you abide by it. What has happened, you can never change it. And this is something relationships need to understand. If you question the why it happened, you will never move forward. So never ask why.
Okay.
But ask what can be done next. There's a huge possibility. There's always a solution around the corner.
Can you tell me something about love language in a romantic relationship?
Interesting. So if I had to say it, I would say it from my personal experience. I feel loved simply because my partner makes me realize every day, A, how amazing I am, how valuable I am, and what amazing things I'm capable of. And this is just pure personal experience because so far I've not had a single mentee who's come to me for a romantic advice.
Hopefully after this.
Hopefully after this. But I do feel this is what you need to tell them. That as an individual, how great you are, what you're capable of, and how valuable you are to their life.
Every day?
Every day. My husband does this every day. That reassurance that A, somebody is there holding you back like a spine and telling you that you have the ability to achieve your dreams, and whatever your dream is, it's not small.
How do you communicate disagreements in a relationship?
The only way is wherein both people have mutual respect for each other. That's very vital. Because if I think I'm superior than you, then I can't be on the same plane, and people who are on different plane don't communicate well. So the first thing about a healthy relationship is to be on the same plane. And that's the only time you can tackle indifference, where you say, I respect your opinion. And guess what? I respect mine. Is there a possibility that both of us can have different opinion about the same thing and still be right?
So how do you communicate that?
Well, it's literally like that. You can simply go and say, for example, I'm speaking to like Shlloka, best of friends, right? And when I was talking about it, it bothered you. You said something brash and you just left. Now, I really value you. Our friendship matters to me. But what also matters to me is that you understand that I can have different opinions. Would you be willing to see if we can come to a common page? And this conversation can keep going on. Where I'm willing to explore what exactly is the difference that we're not agreeing on. And maybe when we say it out right, in a calm demeanor, you are more adaptable to what I say, and I'm more absorbent to what you have to put across.
What can you say to calm someone down?
Not calm down. Don't say calm down.
Don't say, oh God, that's the worst, isn't it?
Yes.
Calm down.
Never
Oh
say
God,
that.
that's so irritating.
Never.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it is.
So if they're really angry, you go like, yeah, I know, right?
Calm down.
He did that. He shouldn't have. I get you. You meet them
Yeah.
on the plane where they are. And then you bring them along with you. But you see, you calm down. That person feels you're inconsiderate. You don't even
Absolutely.
understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what I went through? But if this other person's there, you say, I get it. Just match their tonality.
Okay.
Match their words. He did that. I mean, how could he do that? Exactly. How could he do that? This is so unfair. I'm so pissed off. I just wish this day would end. I know this day would just end. I understand how you have to validate them. Don't work against them. Just calm down. You're insulting their intelligence.
What are the 5 exercises that you recommend an individual does every day to better their communication skill?
So the first thing I tell them is learn to speak in frameworks. My favorite one is what, so what, and now what. So whatever is it that you want to talk about, say a line or two. So what is, why is it important? And then now what is the outcome? Each and every place, 1 to 2 lines, 1 to 2 lines, 1 to 2 lines. Make it crisp. Second, a lot of us have shallow breathing, right? Belly breathing is needed. So I force them that please stand in front of the mirror. If I find that their voice is not strong enough, I tell them, get into the habit of breathing from your belly. Changes the projection of your voice. Third thing I would say is try and stand when you speak in important meetings or on an important call. Slouching is a habit that we've developed and we do it unconsciously. But when you stand tall and you have conversations, you notice the quality of the conversation. The flow of blood is better when you stand.
Yeah.
Fourth would be, I force them to pause. Let's say something profound and force yourself to just stop. If you can't, just say a sentence, physically shut your mouth and then open it again. And yeah, one, be very comfortable with silence in good way. Because if you have the control over how to control your instinct of not filling the silence, that person will end up speaking and filling the silence. And he might say something that you've been wanting to hear.
You know, since you spoke about filling silence up with something, I remembered filler words.
Yeah.
Indians tend to do a lot of that, right? Like right now, I just had a little break. Okay, I was trying to think of words or the next sentence.
Yeah.
And usually we would tend to add, do you know, sort of.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about filler words?
I have a love and hate relationship with it. First is the filler sounds. That I have a problem with.
Such as?
They have no meaning. A lot of people start their sentences, right? That is a problematic thing for me, I feel. Now, the filler words also, when they're repeated, that's when they're a problem. For example, if you start a sentence with so, and if there's 7 sentences and every 7 starts with a so, there's no problem. But if every second sentence starts with a so, then I can see a pattern. That's a problem. So we cannot villainize kind of and sort of unless and until they're repeated so much that they occupy more space in the conversation than the conversation itself. And it is contagious, do you know?
Yeah. Oh.
It is contagious. If you come and sit across someone who uses a lot of filler words, you will find yourself mirror that energy. And it happened with me yesterday. I had 2 mentees. Both of them started using so, and I realized in that entire 4 hour, I had to remind myself consistently that I shouldn't use so.
So there was a psychologist called Alexander Todorov, and he stated that people choose to trust someone within the first 100 milliseconds of meeting them before they've uttered so much as a single word.
Oh, yes. So what happens is, and if you notice it, if you go to any event,
Yeah.
you'll notice that some people just walk through the door and you've made 10,000 assumptions about them. They're confident. Even something as simple as they're wealthy. They must speak like this. They must operate in a work culture like this. And all of this happens without them uttering a word. That is presence. So when you walk through the door, no matter how slouchy you feel because you've had a dreadful day, which is possible, raise your shoulders, pull them apart, pull them down. Make sure that the length between your neck and just walk in and have a soft gaze. You see the room change.
Acha.
It's the aura and it's something I've tried.
Okay.
So this might sound obnoxious, unpleasant, and overconfident. But when I enter a room, I always believe that everybody in that room loves me. They're obsessed with me. They just want to talk to me. You have to have that belief, because when you have that belief, you exude the energy that makes you feel like I belong here. I can do it. But if you enter the room thinking, I'm going to be alone. I don't know anyone. What am I going to do? I'll be out of place. Multiply it by 10, that's exactly what's going to happen.
How do you have a powerful presence?
Let me call it as charisma. So charisma has a formula. It's power plus presence plus warmth. Let's start with warmth. So when that Raymond guy is helping the little kid, probably getting his kite, helping an old lady cross the road, that is the warmth, right? Then you have presence. When somebody with a lot of power sits down and listens to you, that's their presence. That means being fully present in the moment. You'll see someone like Ratan Tata, his old clips if you see.
Okay.
If when he's talking, he's so present talking to whoever it is. He's answering to the journalist, he'll look there. He'll give the most sincere answer. And you realize, what a man. What a man. What is he doing that makes him what a man? There's so many other people with a lot of wealth, but we never say that for them. And then the most important one is power. Now, power can be attributed to wealth. Power can be attributed to being an overachiever or somebody exceptional in your field. Olympics, cricket, actor, researcher, anybody who's done exceptionally well is power, right? So power combined with warmth, combined with presence is charisma. That's what you call he's magnetic.
You know, someone said that about Shah Rukh Khan. I think a lot of people have said that about Shah Rukh Khan.
Yes.
That he makes you feel like you're the most important person in that room.
True.
Raviesha ji, it is widely found that large organizations lose millions of dollars every year because of miscommunication. About half of the employees have said that our productivity goes down because of inadequate communication or miscommunication. More than 1 in 3 leaders spend an hour every week just sorting out communication issues. So communication is huge when we talk about the professional space and the professional ecosystem. Give me 5 communication hacks, that would be valuable to a professional in any sector.
The one that we've discussed is that please translate your message, simplify. If you're a tech person, simplify it for a non-tech person. Otherwise, they don't know what happens. They'll just nod or somebody will come and summarize your point and may completely misinterpret it. Second, when you start out a meeting or you're catching hold of someone, it's something important. Start with a why. Why is it important? Second, it is very important that when you enter the room, you set in the agenda very clear. So when people enter in to discuss, it's always that we're going to discuss this XYZ. But they never discuss the outcomes they want to walk away with. Third would be, and this is something about valuing time. If you are in an organization, value the time of people. If a slot has been given to you, ensure that you follow that time slot. Don't go beyond that. Fourth would be, don't kill people with slides.
Okay.
I've seen people read out of slides as if their whole life is written on it, word for word, line for line. I read this line somewhere, in some book probably, where a CEO said that if something is extremely important, it'll come out of your mouth.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah.
It'll not be on the slide.
Yeah.
So if it's important, say it out. And whatever you need, probably graphically, put something, support it. That's the supporting actor.
Understood.
If anything is taking attention from you to that, then you are not important. And if you are not important, people don't talk about you in the rooms that you want to reach.
Nice.
That's vital.
Yeah.
Then it would be, keep it to the point. If you have said something once, frame it right and say it once. So if you are presenting, figure out what are my top 3 priorities. What are the 3 things that I think should be mentioned, are necessary or need to be worked on. They cannot be beyond 3. So just say this and say it once. Not circling back and circling back and circling back, which is a favorite jargon of the call. Let's circling back to it.
Yes.
Say it once and say it nice. And then you ask questions. I said that. Everybody got it? Anything that you want me to elaborate? Is there something that you need more explanation on? Rather than assuming that this person didn't understand, so I'm going to repeat telecast. And most importantly, yes, this is the worst. Over-explanation. What they'll ask you is the outcome. But you will get into the process of how you reach to that outcome. Now, somebody who's at a position paying you a lot of money to do your job doesn't want you to feed information like you're a child and tell them the process.
Okay.
I did this, we did this, then the team faced this, and then that happened, and then this happened, and now it sounds very novice.
Yeah.
You are a capable individual. That's why you're here. Just tell them the outcome, what it means to them. Why is it important? Period. And this is where a lot of tech people have. They will get into all the processes of what had happened to finally reach the conclusion, which is the last point, that reach to the conclusion at the earliest. If you've taken too long, I'm lost in the journey. So reach to the conclusion at the earliest. Now, coming to the cross-generational communication, there's one massive difference that you'll notice with this generation versus ours is this generation has worked under people who have wanted to get the bang for buck by hour. I have you on job from 9 to 6. You better be visible from 9 to 6. I don't care what you do, but you tell me what you're doing. This generation is tell me what you want done. I'll do it. More outcome driven. So I do see that a lot of times this generation is bashed.
Yeah.
Gen Z is bashed, right? They don't have this. I feel that they are creating the norm that let's try and be outcome driven. So there's a lot that we can learn from them. And if we do, I think we are the best combination. Everybody in my team is younger to me. They're 20s, 23, 25. And I'm so grateful. I would not work with anyone who's 35.
Oh, really?
No. Very rigid. Not willing to adapt. Has a certain way of viewing the world.
Any other communication etiquette that you would suggest for the Gen Zs?
Drop the weird slangs like sus and
Guys also, they speak to their seniors with, hey, you guys.
hey guys, hey you guys, right? And then Sululus are the new Riz. Use words. Use words. It's easier. At times, this is a test that you must have seen all the CEOs have been given. What does it mean? And they're clueless. But why do you want to complicate? Why do you want to create an altogether different language? And they shouldn't use it in a professional circle unless and until the person sitting across is from the very same time period where they can understand it.
How should employers communicate with their employees? What is the correct communication etiquette?
See, as employers, you have a leadership role and a leadership responsibility. And when we say the word leadership, you think of, I'm going to tell you what you need to do, and I will give you timely feedback where you've botched up. ICF certification of leadership says that a leader is the one who's willing to coach people under them. So if you're a leader, it is your responsibility to make sure that people working under you, you can coach them to get done what you want, not just outrightly expect and reprimand. For example, if I say a leader has to give a feedback, right? Usually there's a framework for it that you say what it is and report. I add a layer to it. Say somebody was presenting and they were given 15 minutes and the presentation went for 45 minutes and everybody in the room noticed they got uncomfortable. You want to give a feedback. The first thing would be to say, this is what happened and this is how it's impacting you. This is the plain feedback, right? That's the norm. We never go back and we ask the person that, how according to you did this presentation go? It's good. What was going through your head? Was there something that you want, any points that you felt were left back? You want to discuss, elaborate? You try to understand and then you say, I have a feedback that I want to give you. You're comfortable with it. We do not want to know the backstory. Now, clearly backstory does not mean that you sit down and listen for 10 minutes. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes and you say, I just wish to ask you a few things. And this person, I think it went well. No, I covered most of my points. How are you feeling? I was a little jittery and nervous that what if this was left out? There was so much to cover. You'll get to know the backstory. And then you go on with feedback that I've recently noticed that the length of your presentation has exceeded beyond the slot allotted. And then you give what is in it for them. Unless and until it's beneficial for them, they don't want to change. See, when you keep it crisp and relevant, everybody in the room understands that what you need to prioritize. And when you do that, you look decisive. And the second most important thing is detach the person from the process. Person is different and process is different. So whenever you want to give feedback, say something good, bad, ugly, whatever. You agree or disagree. If it's something good, praise the man. But if something is not working right, question the process. Don't question the person. Because that's attacking. And once you attack, the person gets defensive.
Yes.
And attack and defense don't work well in the same team. So as leaders, we need to understand how to speak to them wherein you don't put them on a threshold and make them feel judged. You have to make them feel a part of the team, wherein you're willing to coach them so that they can also elevate themselves. They elevate themselves, you elevate yourself. Someone very smart once told me that a leader is the one who prepares who will be the next to take his place.
Nice.
Because if you are not capable of doing it, you're insecure.
Yeah.
You're insecure of your own capability. And if you cannot get someone ready, the leader above you knows that you're good for nothing. You don't have one right person to fit in the job. What have you done?
How do I communicate effectively in a conflict situation so that I can get out of the conflict?
Now, this is the framework that I follow. Anytime someone says, I have indifferences with this person, I say, grab a piece of paper. First thing, write down what happened. Just write that incident 3 to 5 lines. Period. Finished. Second, what specific about this incident did I not like? The whole thing happened, but something specifically bothered you, right? From the beginning to end, it could have not been bad. Then third, what did it make me feel? Then last, what I wish would have been different. Probably would have conveyed it this way, that way. And this extra line I write so that people have their own accountability. What I wish I would have done different. Because the conflict is not a one-way conversation. How could you have handled it? Maybe you reacted in a certain way or did not react. So write it down. And I always say, never enter a battlefield without a plan.
But what if I enter a conflict situation without it being planned? It's something that just rose.
See, then you're reacting. Nobody can solve your conflict the way you can. You can report to a senior and you will still feel, sir, you did not say it the right way.
Yeah.
You didn't convey it. Then say it yourself. But find a decent way to say it. For example, just try and raise your voice. Just try. Let's just try it out. Say something. I know you're very sweet. She's very sweet. But just try.
Okay, how dare you do that?
Hey. Okay. I'm not okay with that tone. How about whatever's going on there, you want to talk about it? Because people do not expect the other person to ask a question to find a solution. We are so used to thinking that the world is working against us. And that is what it is. We think that because we were never taught to be solution oriented.
Yeah. I also feel that there's a lot of power in apologizing. I don't know why people don't apologize enough. They try to beat around the bush, come up with excuses. That's more frustrating.
But do you know that it's also a trait that only confident people can apologize?
Really?
Yes. An underconfident over-apologize or beat around the bush. An underconfident person, I'm so sorry to say this. I'm sorry. Can I add this? I'm sorry if it's bothering you. I'm sorry if it doesn't resonate with you. Right? It's like, I'm sorry is the entry gateway with the benefit of doubt that I may be wrong. So sorry comes like, it's like flip sides of the coin. You do it too much, you're underconfident.
How should it be done?
If it's something worth apologizing for, tell what you're sorry for in period. So if, for example, you've made someone wait for 45 seconds, it's okay. Don't say 45 minutes. You simply say, I humbly apologize for making you wait for 45 minutes. My phone died. I couldn't reach out to you. This is unlike me. Please accept my apologies. And on the other side, if you have informed them prior that you're going to be late by 45 minutes, just say, well, thank you for understanding.
Okay. Don't over-apologize.
Yeah,
when do you know it's over-apology?
The frequency is higher. For everything you feel like this person's caused discomfort. So what over-apologizing is that you put yourself in lower self-esteem compared to others. And apologizing means I know that this was wrong. It really caused you some kind of discomfort. And this is what I'm apologizing for. For smallest thing, you don't apologize. I've seen people say, sorry, can you pass me that glass?
Yeah. Oh, that's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
Versus, could you please pass me that glass? Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, could you just open that door for me? And you'll find them doing things like this. There's a body language that I've copied. They'll do it like, that's defensive, right? That don't be angry on me. You'll find them. There's a bounce in the body. So there's a pattern in which you can figure out if this person's a people pleaser.
How do I know someone's a people pleaser?
First, you'll find them speaking a little fast. So nervous hoke jaldi bolte hai na? They can't say no. Third, you will find them apologizing for just about everything. Sorry to bahut bolenge. Smaller body language. Because they have difficulty to create boundaries, they hold grudges and vendetta. So you will find a conversation like, remember that time you said about this and I had to do this and you didn't do that? So they live in the past and they wait for finding opportunities in the future to reply back. So they agree to everything. They live in the victim mode. So any action, any repercussion, they were just standing there and somebody just came and beat them up and they felt bad. That's how they think the world is. They don't want to take actions to change that. I think these are at least 3 traits you will find in every people pleaser out of these.
Thank you so much, Miss Raviesha Agarwal,
Thank you for having me.
for this wonderful podcast on, or rather masterclass on communications. Wishing you all the strength in whatever you do in life.
Thank you.
And hope to see you another time.
Definitely.
In case you'd like to be a part of our online and in-person yoga, diet and spiritual programs, you can join our WhatsApp group below where we post all our upcoming programs and give free tips on health, diet and lifestyle.